A woman who once sat on top of daytime television, who built a media empire with her own voice and personality, is now being told she has no money. Not less money. Not tied up money. No money at all. And according to people closest to her, that same woman never agreed to give up control of her life in the first place. Because behind closed doors, this story isn't starting to look like protection anymore. It's starting to look like something much darker. For decades, Wendy Williams made a career out of saying the things everyone else was too afraid to say. She exposed celebrities, called out hypocrisy, and turned honesty into a brand. But now, the spotlight isn't on someone else. It's on Wendy. And the question people can't stop asking is simple. Where did her money go? A recent blind item quietly sent shockwaves through entertainment circles. It claimed Wendy had tens of millions of dollars sitting in the bank before a court-appointed guardian took over her finances. According to court documents and sworn statements, Wendy allegedly showed a longtime friend bank records reflecting nearly $55 million in cumulative balances. $55 million, not pocket change, not a misunderstanding. Yet, after guardianship began, Wendy was reportedly told she no longer had access to that money. In some accounts, she was told she had nothing left at all. Think about that for a second. A woman who spent decades earning massive television salaries, signing brand deals, producing content, and running a hit daytime show. Suddenly being told she's broke. That alone would raise eyebrows. But what makes it even stranger is what Wendy allegedly did next. Court filings suggest Wendy began meeting with another major bank in an attempt to move her money away from the institution that first froze her accounts. That implies she believed her money still existed. So if the money didn't disappear, who's holding it and who's controlling it? Almost immediately after these details surfaced, people who've known Wendy for decades started speaking up. Friends say they no longer recognize the situation she's in. They describe layers of rules, restrictions, and barriers that make it nearly impossible to reach her. Phone calls go unanswered. Visits require approval. Information is tightly controlled. This is the same woman who once ran her entire empire with no filter and no hesitation. Now, everything around her feels filtered. That's where the conversation shifts from concern to alarm. Because guardianship on paper is supposed to protect people who genuinely can't manage their own affairs. It's meant to be a safety net. But critics say in practice it can quickly turn into a cage. And Wendy's son, Kevin Jr., has made it clear he believes that's exactly what's happening to his mother. Kevin isn't quietly worried, he's openly angry. He said his mom isn't being cared for. She's being managed. That word matters. Managed doesn't mean healed. Managed doesn't mean empowered. Managed means controlled. Kevin has publicly questioned the decisions being made about Wendy's medical treatment, her medication, and her living conditions. He's asked why his mother can't make basic choices for herself. He's asked why access to her is so limited. He's asked why conversations about her finances are met with silence. From his perspective, none of this looks like protection. It looks like isolation. And when a son starts feeling like he needs permission to speak to his own mother, something is seriously wrong. What makes this even more unsettling is that Wendy herself has expressed confusion about why she's still under guardianship. In past interviews, she's questioned why so many restrictions remain in place. She's wondered out loud why she can't make certain decisions. She's hinted that she feels capable in ways the system refuses to acknowledge. That gap between how Wendy sees herself and how she's being treated fuels the fire. Because if she's truly incapable, why does she sound so aware? And if she's aware, why is someone else making every call? To understand how shocking this fall really is, you have to remember who Wendy used to be. Before the wigs, before the purple chair, before daytime television. Wendy was grinding in radio. She built her name through pure hustle. She showed up loud, fearless, and unapologetic. She dared executives to fire her. She survived scandals, suspensions, and backlash. She turned controversy into currency. Wendy didn't inherit power. She fought for it. Which is why it feels almost impossible to process that this same woman now needs approval for basic aspects of her own life. From empire builder to permission slip Some defenders of the guardianship point to Wendy's long history of addiction struggles and health issues. Wendy has never hidden that part of her life. She's openly talked about her battles, her relapses, and her mistakes. But critics argue something important. Struggling doesn't automatically mean surrendering your entire existence. Needing help doesn't mean losing every right. And there's a dangerous pattern where past addiction becomes a permanent justification for lifelong control. At what point does help end? At what point does autonomy return? Those questions get even heavier when money enters the conversation. Because under guardianship, Wendy does not control her estate. Someone else does. Someone else decides what bills get paid. Someone else decides what accounts are accessed. Someone else decides how much Wendy gets. Kevin Jr. has reportedly pushed for financial transparency and a full accounting of where his mother's money has gone. These are still allegations, but the fact that a son feels the need to demand receipts about his own mother's fortune says everything, especially when that fortune didn't come from a trust fund. It came from Wendy's voice, her labor, her brand, her sacrifices. Now zoom out for a moment. Wendy's situation isn't unique. Other high-profile cases have shown how guardianship can quietly morph into a system where the person at the center loses control of everything while remaining alive, aware, and breathing. No public meltdown, no dramatic courtroom spectacle, just slow disappearance. Carefully managed silence. That's what makes Wendy's fading presence so disturbing. Her talk show is gone. Her business ventures have stalled. Her public appearances are rare and tightly controlled. Fans used to hear Wendy's voice every single day. Now they barely hear it at all. And silence is never neutral. Silence benefits someone. If Wendy were truly thriving, why isn't she doing long-form interviews? If Wendy were fully incapable, why does she sound lucid when she speaks? If everything is above board, why is so much hidden behind closed doors? None of these questions have clear answers. And that uncertainty is what keeps this story alive. Because at its core, this isn't about celebrity drama anymore, it's about power. It's about who gets to decide when a human being stops owning their own life. It's about whether a system designed to protect vulnerable people is being used in ways that quietly strip them of dignity. Wendy Williams built her entire career on exposing other people's secrets. Now her own life feels like a locked file. Her son is pushing back. Fans are demanding clarity, and cracks are starting to form in a wall that once looked untouchable. Whether this ends in freedom, reform, or more heartbreak, one thing is clear. Wendy's story isn't finished, because the same woman who survived public humiliation, addiction, divorce, and industry backlash has rebuilt herself before, more than once. And if history tells us anything, Wendy doesn't stay silent forever. The real question is, when Wendy finally speaks freely again, what will she reveal about who's really been in control of her story this whole time?